All right. Are we going? We're going. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go. My asked for 2 more minutes, but I can't do it. We have to get going because it's already 10:22.
Yeah, it's already 3 minutes.
Yes, you already had 3 more minutes. I know. You just love code so much. You can't stop. Okay. All right. So where we left was that we ran this. Why isn't it working? Let's run it again. And it was running. It was working before we stopped. Now nothing. So what's going on? Reference error I is not defined. Okay. I noticed that sometimes when people see bugs, that they stop using their problem-solving skills. Keep using your problem-solving skills. Your first problem to solve is what is the browser telling you about the bug? So it tells us a few things. I is not defined. Okay, great. And look how helpful it is. The exact file and the exact line. So let's look in that file at that line at 28. 28, that's way up there. I don't remember even making any changes there. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now that happens. I saw that happen to some of you. And yes. And guess what? It happens to me sometimes, right? It's okay. So the syntax, we need to have the syntax right, of course, for the computer to understand us. But the first step, as long as we are clear on the ideas, then when we make a mistake, the bug makes sense. And then 10 seconds later, it's okay. All right, let's try this again. Much better. Okay. Thank you, browser, for telling me exactly where the problem was. So let's go back into our render here. We're almost done. We calculated our sales info. If we wanted to, we could use template literal notation to concatenate that string. And we're done with the hours, I believe. Yes, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Great. And then now our job, now, not before, but now, we look at the total. Okay, so we need another li to do that. So let's see. So Jumana, if we want to make another li, another list item that will hold the information about the total, how do I create an li? Var what? You could just say it again. I didn't hear you. Okay. Okay, so var what? Var like that? Is that what you want? Say it one more time because I can't hear you over here. Paragraph? Okay. All right. Let me look real quick. I think that it wants it to be the same here. So just the same style as before. So I wouldn't use a paragraph. Yeah. I would use, it looks to me, see it has that little dot there? Looks to me like this should be an li, just like the other one. Just like all the other ones, but at the end. Great, li, perfect.
Document create element
li, okay. Great. Okay. Perfect. Now, and then Shama, let's set the text content. So this li should have the total, right? It should be total, colon, some number, the total number, and then cookies. So let's do that. Okay. 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 Equals what? Yeah, we can double check here. Total colon. Okay. Total colon. Okay. And now what's the next? Now we want this value, right? That's the total for the day. So where do we get that value from? So remember, for me, in mine, I called it daily sales. Okay? So how do we access that daily sales here? Okay? Yeah? So, what do you say, Shaba? Say it louder. Seattle, okay. Dot daily sales. Great. Yes, I think we get the right number there. And then I think it was another space. Yes, cookies. Great. Oops. Let's see. Is it? I think we have the text content right. I think, but it's not going to show up on screen yet. I can confirm that. See, not on screen yet. What's missing? Just a sec. Ibrahim, we're going in order.
We have to put this line inside as a child of the UL.
Okay, so great. So UL dot append child li, right? Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, there it is. In fact, it looks better than the other ones because the other ones are missing a space.
Yeah.
So let's change that. Where can we change that?
Inside the for loop.
Yes. What line?
Line 80.
And 80. Right. Very good. Okay. How are we feeling about Seattle? Is Seattle in good shape?
Yes.
Okay, I think so too. I think it's in good shape. Maybe there's a mistake, but it feels pretty good right now. Feels good enough to start making the other ones. Okay. So let's make one more. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay if I use this data sales instead of Seattle data sales because I'm inside the object.
You are inside the object. That's right. In fact, everywhere that we're using Seattle here, inside the object should be this. Yeah. Because as soon as we start copying this to the other ones, it stops working. So here, this string is okay, but these other ones here should be this. So let's try it. Let's see if it works.
And 90.
Okay, because this in the current object is Seattle. So let's see. If it works, it still does. Yay. That's good because in the process of taking the Seattle out and making it this, our code is very close to being exactly the same for Dubai and exactly the same for Tokyo.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for. In fact, there's only one thing different that would need to be changed when we make Dubai. It's
Just
that,
fix
right?
it, yeah.
In fact, I don't like that. Maybe we can make this. Maybe we can make Seattle a property of the shop. So, yes,
Can
yes,
you slack me this code before refactoring?
yes, that's right. You did ask for that. Okay, before we make any more changes, let me do that.
I
And
don't think
here it comes. Just one sec. I need to freeze this so I don't show my Slack. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it will accept all these lines because Slack has a limited.
Yeah, it's okay. It can take it as a file.
Yeah, inside the file.
Yeah. Okay.
So I see you try to copy and paste code.
But we refactored.
Good to know.
He was sending us the words and
Yeah, you say, Ibrahim says, a friend of mine told me that doesn't work. Okay, there we go. That's like that. All right. So, I would like to make one more change before I start making Dubai and Tokyo, because I don't want to have to make any changes to this code. As little as possible. I'd like this to be something that's part of the object, right? So what should we call it? Like, yeah, name. It could be name. It could be location. You know, something like that. I like location. Okay. All right. And then Seattle. So that's still a problem, but at least we've moved it up to the top, and we'll see about a way of dealing with that soon. So let's see. Let me take that out of render right here, and instead say
Location.
yes, this
Yeah, this
dot location.
Of course, yeah.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So that's looking pretty good.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes. Go ahead.
Is there any words or something that refers the object name, just like the type?
Mhm.
Uh,
Right. So we stored this object in a variable called Seattle,
yeah, just.
and you'd like to know
Yeah. We
there
can
is-
call the object name. Just
there
call
is
it
there is not.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
You know, there might be some very advanced way to sort of hack in, but no. Generally speaking, no.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think we're done. I think we have a good render. We can get rid of this render soon because we just built it together. Okay. All right. Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's make sure that works still, even after my changes. Yes. Great. So we can start copying this. And the only change that I believe we would have to make is to these things.
Yeah, Seattle.
So yes, we have Seattle here. It's true. We have to change that, but we change it right in the spot where the other changes have to be made. Min, max.
I would say,
Okay. Min, max, average sale. Great. Okay. Questions on that? Great. So now, if we want to make Dubai, let's copy this. I said I don't like copying and pasting, but in this case, I know the code exactly, right? So let's do it. So let's go down here and
voila.
paste it. Go way up here. Okay, Dubai. Does anyone remember the min and max for Dubai? Mhm. That's okay. That's okay. We'll do Dubai. 1138. Okay, and 3.7. 1138. 3.7. Okay. But yeah, let's give it a better variable name than that. Okay, Dubai. Great. So way down here at the bottom, let's grab this. We'll move it down here, and we'll do the same thing for Dubai. And let's check. Seattle, Dubai. Yay. Very good. So, because we are doing the same exact thing, same steps here, right? We're doing generate hourly sales, which is to create the data. I like to separate that step from the rendering. That's my preference. So 2 steps. Generate the data, then render that data. We're doing the same thing over and over again here. Instead of doing it like that, we can instead put it into like this. Okay? And then go through a for loop. Shop equals this is the current shop. Generate data sales, render. Let's see if it still works. And it doesn't. Let's see the bug. generate daily sales is not a function. Generate hourly sales. My mistake. Let's do it again. And it works. Okay? We refactored. We changed the internal structure of the code, but kept the external behavior. I like that better than having to make all those new, doing it one by one explicitly, put it in a loop. Now if I want to add Tokyo and Paris, etc., right, I can just copy, 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 paste, 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 and then add to here.
All the time.
I'm sorry?
And
Yes, only time. Only time is okay. I still don't like it because I don't want to have to cut and paste all this stuff. This render function should be exactly the same for all of them. If they're not exactly the same, that's a mistake. I don't want to have to remember to keep on adding this generate hourly sales and this get random customer count. This part I don't mind changing, but all this other stuff is supposed to be exactly the same. What if we had 50? This is already annoying with 5. If we had 50 or 500 or 5,000, right? This doesn't work. We need to have some way of saying these are all shops, all cookie shops. They all share the same behavior. They all have the same properties. The values of those properties, of course, are different. Yes, of course. They're distinct, unique shops. But they should have the same property names, the same keys, and the methods should be the same, right? Because if they're not the same, there's a bug. We want some way of using JavaScript so that we can keep ourselves from having those bugs. Yes, and of course, that's from what you read about. So let's switch over to a demo. I'm not going to make the change here. I'm not going to turn this shop into a constructor function. I'm not going to move those methods into onto what's called the prototype of the constructor. That's the place that it can be shared by all the shops, because that's your job. That's your job in the lab. But I'll do something similar.
Please just
Yes.
show the live website. Just I wanna
Yeah.
check. Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah, good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Thank you.
Yes, Dusty.
In Slack. In Slack.
Yeah, I sent the code like 5 minutes ago. This code right here, I'm going to stop now with the review. This will be up in the course repository as it is right now. Okay? Okay, good. I really, really want to change all these shops to use constructor functions, but that wouldn't be fair. That's your job. I don't want to steal your work. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me commit this. Okay. So where are we? Okay, that's our review. Let's go into demos. Again, this demo will be available up in the course repository for today's class. All right. Let's actually stop that. Okay. This one should be done now. Good. All right. Let's go in here, or watch me go in here. And we're going to make something with some kitty cats. So let's run this so that you can see the end result that we want. There we go. Okay. Adopt a kitten. I see cats all over here. I hardly ever see dogs. A couple here and there. But cats are all over where I'm staying. They're everywhere. Cats, and there's a goat. Okay. So we're making a place to adopt kittens. Each kitten, we're going to list each kitten that's available for adoption with their name, a description of them, their age in months, because they're kittens. We don't want years. Okay? Some of their habits or things they like. Frankie likes to nap and to chase birds. And some features of Frankie. Good. This means good with kids. Good with dogs. False. Good with other cats. False. So Frankie is great with kids, napping, chasing birds. Not good with dogs or other cats. Jumper. Also adorable. 8 months old. Likes lounging and hissing. Has good with kids, good with dogs, bad with other cats. And a picture. Serena, adorable as well. Yes. Purring, likes rubbing legs. Good with dogs, cats, and other kids. Okay? That's our end result. So let's see if we can make that happen. So here is our what's called our problem domain. All the things I just described. Okay, there are hundreds of kittens though. Only a few volunteers. It's too time consuming to hand code each kitten's profile on their website, and they need a better way. So each kitten's profile should have a name, a random age assigned, a list of what they like, an image, and true or falses for good with kids, dogs, other cats, and let's bring breed up. Okay, and breed. Okay? So that's what each kitten or each kitten's profile should have. So I'm going to comment this out. I don't mind you seeing it for a moment, but we're going to kill it here and build it ourselves. But we have this here for reference if something goes wrong. Okay, so before we learned about constructor functions, we might do something like this. Var Frankie equals this, an object literal. Okay. Yes. And then also in your reading, they did it a slightly different way. Or they showed us another way, which was new object, like that, right? And then you'd have to add the properties to it like this, like Frankie.name equals Frankie, etc., right? That's fine. But those are just objects. Generic means like there's nothing particular, nothing special about them. They're just plain old JavaScript objects. In fact, that's a term in web development called POJO, P-O-J-O, plain old JavaScript objects. So it means there's nothing special about them. We want to make something special about them. We want to make it be a kitten. Not anything else, a kitten. So if we want to make a kitten, then we need to make a function, a special kind of function, of course, called a kitten. A what? Well, yes, kitten, but the kind of function that we're making, there's a name for it in general, constructor. Constructors always start with uppercase, yes, capital. JavaScript will allow you to make a constructor function without a capital. I wish it didn't, but it would. So JavaScript won't complain, but your coworkers will complain. They won't like it. This is a very important convention in JavaScript. Uppercase, capital first letter means constructor function. And you can pass in arguments here. So, for example, let's just start with name. We have all these other ones, but let's just start with name. Okay? Okay. So this will allow us to create a new kitten. And we want it to be able to pass in the name. This name argument just a variable local to that function. It's not the same as the property, though. In order to do a property, we want it to be this name.
Okay.
This dot name equals what? Equals name. So this is a very common convention to do it this way. But notice this here is the argument, right? This is actually the parameter, right? So we can say something like the cat or the kitten name. And when that happens, we need to change that. Okay? They're different. They're different. They oftentimes will be the same because that's just that's a typical convention. But they are actually different. This is the parameter, which represents the name of the local variable that's being passed in as input. And this dot name is the property, right? Okay. So I'll leave it like this for the moment. You can do whatever you want in your code. So now we have the ability to create a new kitten. We haven't created one, but we have the ability. So let's say Frankie equals, and constructor functions are designed to use the word new. So we say var Frankie equals new kitten, and then pass in the name.
This name, the name is a variable built in, right, for any objects. And
This dot name?
this name, the name is a property for each object, right?
Yes. So this dot name is saying declare a property of this kitten object.
Yeah. It's a built-in property, right?
Well, no, it's not built in. We're defining it right now. So we're declaring it, excuse me, and then we're defining it here with the argument that was passed in. So let's see what happens when we log out Frankie. Frankie, and notice that capital K kitten, it understands that Frankie, that the value that the variable Frankie holds is a kitten. It's not just an object. It's not just a string or whatever. It is a kitten. And it knows the properties of that kitten object. And that's Frankie. You don't pay no attention to this proto stuff. You'll learn about that in 401. Okay, so for now. So that's it. So it knows that this is a kitten and it's new. And importantly, it's different from any other kitten. So Serena equals new kitten. Serena LV Serena. Good. Okay. So those are each unique. We made two new kittens. When you've used the constructed function to create a new thing, in this case a kitten, that is oftentimes called an instance. We've made two instances of a kitten. All right. Great. So we don't have anything showing up on screen. That's okay. As I said, I like to do the rendering after we have the data correct. And we don't have the data correct yet because the data is supposed to be the name, the breed, random age, a list of likes, an image, etc., etc. All we have right now is the name. So let's add some more things. Let's add a breed. How shall we do that? Yes, Danya.
We can add a new argument,
Mm-hmm.
which for breed, we can say the kitten breed.
Okay. All right. Do I have to, could I just call it breed too?
Yeah,
If I wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Okay, then we must declare it by this dot
Mhm.
kit the
Breed.
no
Mhm.
breed.
Yeah.
Just breed.
Yeah, I would just call that one breed,
Breed.
because that's the breed. Is a part of a kitten. It's the property of a kitten. So we don't need to say. I don't need to say my JB arm. I can just say my arm, right?
Yeah.
And so if we say the breed, and the breed is part of a kitten, then of course that means the kitten's breed.
Yes.
Okay, so great.
Equal to the kitten breed.
Okay. So if I run this right now, what do we expect to log out for Frankie and Serena? We already know we get a name of Frankie and Serena, and what will be their breeds?
Not
Kitten
yet.
breed.
Nothing
You
yet.
want
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no value.
Yes, null value. And how is no value? Undefined. That's right. Null represents no value, but it could have been defined in the past. Undefined means never defined. Well, let's confirm that. Sure enough, breed undefined. Breed undefined. Because we did not pass it in. So let's say Frankie is, I don't know, Himalayan. That's a cat, right? I think. And Serena could be a Persian. Persian is a cat, I think. I don't I don't really know cats. I'm more of a dog person. So okay, so let's see. Great, good. Okay, thumbs on creating a new kitten. Okay, ish. Okay, all right.
Go back to the code.
Okay, let's go back to the code. Okay, so a constructor function is a special kind of function, but it's still a function, right? So you define it like a function. It can take arguments. You can do things with those arguments. The important thing is that when this constructor function is called using the keyword new, then this will refer to that particular creation of that object, called an instance. So that's the special thing about constructor functions, is that this will equal that instance of the kitten.
Make a copy, make a copy from the function for each object, right?
It will,
With different values.
yes, it will make different values per one. Mhm. Okay, so, and each kitten will have its own properties, right?
What does new do exactly? As a function?
Yes, it creates new followed by a constructor function will create
A new object.
an object of that type. Okay. So call this function kitten with new before it. You end up with a new object of that type kitten.
Are they like classes?
They are similar to classes. You will learn about JavaScript classes in 401. Classes in JavaScript are new, and so there's a whole bunch of code out there that doesn't use classes. So we're going to learn it this way. Classes make it easier to think about. The syntax is better, but it's the same ideas. Okay, so we have two kittens, one Frankie, one Serena. Nice. And we have some more things that we need to throw in there. Name, breed, we already have.
Random age assigned.
Yes, so random age, interesting. Let's look at that one, because that one, if we're gonna probably want to have a function, right?
Method.
Yes, a method, exactly. So let's call it assign random age, how about that, okay? Okay, so we're making a property using the key assign random age. It doesn't exist yet. We're making it. We're defining it on the current object, and we're setting it to a function. Okay, That's how you think you would do it. That's what it feels like the way you should do it. That's how you did it inside of an object literal. The syntax is different when you're working with constructor functions. And I'll tell you now, the syntax is stupid. It's a bad syntax. I love JavaScript. JavaScript has been very kind to me and my family, but it's stupid in this way. They make it too hard. The way that you have to do it when you want to make a method available to all the kittens is you add it to something that's called the prototype. So hear these words, let them settle in your brain, but the syntax is less important right now than understanding the idea. So what we want to do is make a method available for Frankie and Serena and every other kitten that we ever make, right? And so what we do is kitten.prototype.generate or assign random age. Okay, equals function. And then I don't think we need anything. For right now, we'll just log out that we're here. Age coming soon. Okay. Again, I encourage you to not worry too much about what a prototype is today. Like, just as best you can, memorize that for now. I almost never want you to just remember something without understanding it, but today I make an exception, okay? Because prototypes are quite complex in their own right. So, but what this is doing is saying all kittens now have access to a function called assign random age. And importantly, this will refer to that current object. Okay? So when this method is called for Frankie, we should get age coming soon for Frankie, because Frankie was stored in this .name. Okay. So again, I could see some furrowed brows and eyebrows. Meh. So that syntax is weird, but I hope that the idea is not weird. The idea is being you want shared behavior for all your kittens, and when that shared behavior is used, it should know who it is. Frankie should know that it is Frankie, and Serena should know that she's Serena, right? So I hope that idea is clear. So focus on having that idea clear, and the syntax will come.
Actually, this name, it will have two values, right? Frankie and Serena.
So no, the way that this works is it will be able to tell the difference depending on who calls it. If you do Serena.assign random age, you'll get Serena. If you do Frankie.assign random age, you get Frankie. I think, let's find out. Let's check. Okay, so let's do Frankie.assign random age. Actually, we don't need the logging here because it's already in the function. So let's this dot name, and let's do Frankie dot assign random age and see what happens. Frankie, and then on line 20, age coming soon for Frankie. Let's try it for, let's get rid of these other ones. Let's try it for Serena. Serena dot assign random age. Okay, so that's the nice thing. That's the very nice thing about that. We gave it additional behavior, so every kitten now has assigned random age, but it's linked and still understands that when it's running for Frankie, that this dot name is Frankie, and when it's running for Serena, this dot name is Serena, and all the other this dot things, right? So it's tied to that particular instance of the kitten, which is very, very helpful. Okay, so the properties that are not functions or not methods just go up in here like you'd expect. Like the same way that for object literals. But methods need to be added to the prototype. Okay? And it can't be inside here, inside the constructor function. It has to be separate. I've really disliked that about JavaScript. I want everything to be inside the constructor function, but it doesn't work that way. Okay? So just get used to it, that every time you have a constructor function like this, and every time you're setting all the properties inside there, including whether they have arguments to begin with, or they have just properties that have some value that you set initially. Anytime you do that, just get used to thinking, do I have any methods I need to add? If I do them right on the next line. Just put them all together. Okay. All right. Yes, Ahmed.
Just to know, what is the kitten in the case wall?
Where's the what?
Kitten wall. This to new kitten.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about it?
What is it?
What is new or what is kitten?
Kitten.
Yeah.
It's a function name.
Yes.
Function name.
It is that's right. It is this constructor function. Yeah. Constructor function. So you use new with constructor functions. And what gets returned from the combination of new and that constructor function is a newly created instance of that thing. In this case, a kitten. So new space kitten, and then parentheses will return that new kitten, a newly created kitten.
So we already have the object called in the bank.
Yes. Yes. Now we do, because the object itself is called, doesn't really have a name exactly. I mean, it has a this dot name. Yes. And we stored it in a variable called Frankie, but it really could be called whatever you want. This could be cat1. That's just the name that we're choosing for the variable. It could be anything.
But present to object, not a regular value.
Correct. Frankie, that on line 23, the variable named Frankie refers to a kitten. An object of type kitten. So not just a regular object, but a very special object that's just for kitten stuff. Yes, and
If I'm gonna need a for loop for Frankie and Serena, what should I do? Should I typed a for loop for Frankie and then type another for loop for Serena?
no, you could
Or
do it however you like.
Are there a shorted way?
Well, I mean, you can do it like this if you wanted to get all ages, right? So get all ages, then you could go through the array. So kittens equals Frankie and Serena, and we haven't done jumper yet, but we could, and let's just stick with them for now. Yeah, sure. You can go through, make a for loop just like you could with anything else, a collection of anything, right? Okay, and then we'll take our break in 1 minute. Okay, and then we could say kitten I dot assign random age. Okay, so what do you expect to see here? We've stored 2 kittens inside the kittens array. We're looping through it, and we're grabbing the current item in the array and calling the assign random age method. So, what do you expect to have happen? Mm-hmm.
Age coming soon for Frankie, then age coming
Yeah.
soon for Serena, right?
Let's see. Whoops.
Yeah, we changed it.
Oh, because I got rid of it here. I got rid of Frankie. Okay. Let's get Frankie back.
And Serena.
And let's get rid of that. And let's get Serena back. Okay, great. Let's try this one more time. And
Is
39. Let's see what that is.
An object, so we need to access it through documentation.
It is just a typo. It should be kittens. Okay, let's try this one more time. Age coming soon for Frankie. Age coming soon for Serena. Okay, little quiz for you. If we do this, what will we see?
The same thing.
The same thing? The same exact thing?
No, no. Age coming soon for Serena, then age.
Okay, let's check. Yep, Serena Frankie.
Place it.
All right. One more thing before we go. How about this? Jumper and Tabby, I think, is a cat. Okay. Now, what do you expect we'll see? This is new, huh? I see head scratching. Yes, I'm gonna get somebody else who hasn't answered yet. So someone who hasn't answered. Yes, it's okay. Just a guess. You don't know. If you don't know yet, that's okay. This is new. So, what do you think? Okay, yes. Where did we left off? We got the Jumana, we got the Shama, we got the Ibrahim, and let's see. Was it you next, Lucy? Yes.
I think undefined because we don't have anything about gender and time.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Let's check it out. Let's see what happens. If you're right or if you're wrong, it's okay. Let's find out. Age coming soon for Jumper.
Where's the
Yes.
front one? Tabby, where's the-
Huh?
where's that?
Tabby undefined and Java secret if we have for one of the articles.
No one defined. No one defined. It found it. It's not undefined. It is. So right here we created it, and we held on to it. We didn't hold on to it with a variable name. We held on to it because it's inside of this index, or inside this array. So, huh? Yes. For the breed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it created it. It created a new kitten right here. Even though we didn't store it in a variable, it's okay. It created it and it put it as the third item in this array. Okay.
You found it one
Yes.
of the arguments, so you won't get it.
I'm sorry?
You found it one of the arguments of the new
Yes. If I forgot the breed here, we should get it would be, and then we looked at its breed, then we would see, let's actually do that. Let's say kittens breed, and we'll see what we get. So for y, assign random age. Oh, I need to log that. And there we go. For Serena, Persian, because we gave it that argument. Himalayan for Frankie, because we gave it. Jumper, we did not give a breed. Undefined, yeah. Okay. All right, so that's new in some ways, but it's variables is just one way of holding on to a value. But this is still a value. And so we didn't store it in a variable, but we did store it in an array. So the array has what's called a reference to it, and that's okay. So it's still around. Okay. All right. I kept you late again. It's 11:11. Let's come on back at 11:21, and we will finish up this demo and prepare for the rest of the day. So see you soon.